Hello everybody, welcome to the Ultimate Scouting Show. Thank you for joining me. Today we have our Week 13 game picks, end of the season coming up. Really, the playoff push is in full swing. Let's hop into these game picks. On Thursday Night Football, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. The Bills are 5.5 point favorites in this game. Hopefully, I think Josh Allen is getting back on track. He obviously had some really poor weeks in there, and he didn't play his best game against the Lions, but I think that hopefully they're getting back on track. For the Patriots, defensively, they've been really good with Belichick. I think Mac Jones actually played one of his better games last week as well. So I think that they're on the right track. This is a big divisional game. Obviously, the AFC East is one of the best divisions in football, so certainly a lot of playoff implications on the line here. I'm going to go with the Bills 28-20 in this game. I think they cover that spread and win this game. Next, we have the Steelers taking on the Falcons. I have the Steelers winning this game 20-17. The Falcons have been able to run the ball somewhat efficiently over the past couple of weeks and throughout this season, but they just lack explosiveness so much on offense. They really can't, come back from big deficits. Their defense really isn't playing very well either under Dean Pease. I think the Steelers have been kind of on the right track these past couple of weeks. Kenny Pickett looks like he's settling in. George Pickens has been a really good target for him as well. So I think the Steelers win this game 20-17. Next, we have the Packers taking on the Bears. It could possibly be Jordan Love versus Trevor Siemian in this game. No real updates on whether Rodgers or Fields are going to play. I would expect Rodgers to play. I'm not sure I would with Fields. I think the Packers have had a lot of success in this matchup. They are favorites in this game by 2.5 points. I have them winning 23-16. The Bears' offense without Justin Fields is just absolutely inept. They lost Darnell Mooney to injury as well. They lost Eddie Jackson in their secondary to injury as well. It's just been a really poor season for the Bears defensively. They're one of the worst units in the entire NFL. And on offense, if Fields isn't in there to kind of will them to points with his legs, I really don't feel confident they're going to score very much. The Packers haven't obviously been great, but I think they've gotten the running game going a little bit. Defensively, they should be better than they are, but I think the Packers win this one. Next, we have the Jaguars versus the Lions. Two of both, pretty historically bad teams. Both, I think, on the upswing. Last week, Trevor Lawrence led an amazing fourth quarter comeback versus the Ravens. He had a really, really good fourth quarter in that game, and I think he's on the right track. For the Lions, they played really tough against the Bills on Thursday, on Thanksgiving. I think that they've kind of figured out this defense a little bit. Aiden Hutchinson is getting going. This defensive line is looking better. The secondary is looking better as well. Jared Goff is efficient when he is kind of given good opportunities to be a successful quarterback. I think when he's put in good positions, he is actually pretty decent. And the playmakers, especially Amon-Ra St. Brown, are really, really good right now. So I think the Lions win this game 23-20. I think they cover that 1.5 point spread. But I just think that right now they're kind of both on the upswing, both of these teams, and it should be an exciting game to watch. Next, we have the Jets taking on the Vikings. The Vikings are 3.5 point favorites in this game. They obviously come off of a win versus the Patriots on Thursday. I have them losing this game, actually, to the Jets, 26-21. The Jets' defense is one of the best units in the NFL. They're so well coached by Robert Saleh. That front seven is really tenacious. They've got a really, really good pass rush. And then their corners have just been absolute lockdown. Sauce Gardner, I think, is running away with Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's been so good. And, they've gotten great play out of DJ Reed as well. I just think that this Jets defense is really, really special right now. I think the Vikings are coming in. They've been a very solid team, but I think they are kind of carried a little bit by their offense, by their superstars in Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. And I don't know. I think the Jets neutralize them in this game, and I think they do enough offensively with Mike White. I think he's been able to just kind of take what the defense gives him. He's not forcing the ball. He's not making a lot of big mistakes, which is really what the Jets need. They can run the ball pretty efficiently. They have obviously amazing defense. You just need a quarterback that can be a solid game manager, and I think that Mike White can do that for them. I think they win this game 26-21. Next, we have the Commanders versus the Giants. These are two teams that I really feel like are heading in separate directions right now. The Commanders, off of a really big, win streak here. I think they've won 6 of their last 7 with Taylor Heineke at quarterback. I don't really understand it. Heineke, plays with a gunslinger mentality, but he doesn't have the most arm talent. He's just a very weird player, but he just instills so much confidence, and fun and excitement into this team. Defensively, they've been really, really getting better. Hopefully Chase Young's back. We've been saying that for a couple of weeks now. He hasn't played yet, but it could get even better. That interior with Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and then you also have Sweat on the outside as well. Their front four is really, really good. I think the back end has cleared up a little bit. On the Giants side of things, they seem to be coming back down to earth a bit. I just don't think that they're this really, really talented team. And Daboll and his coaching staff has kind of willed them to these victories. But I think the talent level is really showing up. I think they're a less talented team than Washington. It's a big divisional matchup. All of these teams currently, if the season ended, would make the playoffs. So definitely playoff implications here. But I think the Commanders win this one 23-17. Next, we have the Eagles taking on the Titans. The Eagles are 5.5-point favorites in this game. I actually have the Titans upsetting them 26-23. I think the Titans have been a really underrated team this year. And it's because they're not explosive. It's because they're not flashy. But when Derrick Henry is going, which he didn't last week, the Bengals were able to bottle him up. And I think that's why they lost that game. But when Derrick Henry gets going and this defense is so tough to play against. They're one of the better units in the NFL when it comes to just not letting teams score points. And, they may allow some yardage, but they're so well coached by Vrabel. I think they are just such a good cohesive unit. And the Eagles have won a lot this season, obviously, as they're, the only team in the NFL with one loss. But I just think that they've shown some cracks recently. I think they can win in a variety of ways, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see them win this game. But I just think the Titans can match their physicality. I think that they can kind of, control the clock with Derrick Henry. Treylon Burks has looked really good as well. I think they may steal this one from the Eagles. Next, we have the Ravens taking on the Broncos. I think the Broncos defense continues to be really good. And I think that they can limit this offense, which Baltimore hasn't been very good offensively for the past couple of weeks. Lamar Jackson is missing some uncharacteristic throws. They're just not scoring a lot of points. Obviously, you lose in the fourth quarter to Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. This team just doesn't seem to be really super explosive and clicking all on the right page right now offensively. Defensively, both of these teams have been really impressive. McDonald for the Ravens has gotten the most out of this unit kind of in the second half of the season, and Evero has been a great defensive coordinator for the Broncos. It's all about, can these offenses put up points? I think the Ravens do win this game 23-17, but I think the Broncos can cover that 8.5-point spread because I expect this to be a defensive low-scoring game. Next, we have the Texans taking on the Browns. Obviously, the big storyline with this is the return of Deshaun Watson against his former team nonetheless. I think the Browns win this game 24-18, but I do have the Texans covering that 7.5-point spread. I just think that in this game, Deshaun Watson is going to come in, and he's probably going to be rusty. He hasn't played football in 2 years. Jacoby Brissett has been giving them really solid quarterback play, and I think that Watson may actually be a downgrade of quarterback play for this game because he's got to get back into the swing of things. Now, I do think that this Texans team is also going to put up quite a fight against, their former superstar quarterback that basically forced his way out of there. I think that this Browns team will win. I think they're the more talented team by far. They can run the ball effectively. This Texans defense is pretty atrocious, but I do think that the Browns maybe don't pull away from this Texans team as much as some people may think. Next, we have the Seahawks versus the Rams. I have the Seahawks winning this game 24-13. This Rams season is basically just completely done. All of their big playmakers, Stafford, Kupp, Aaron Donald, all of their best players, now Allen Robinson as well, are hurt. You've got Bryce Perkins there that don't have a lot of depth. That's kind of been one of the things that I was worried about with the Rams for a long time. So I do think that the Seahawks win this game. I think they're the more talented team. I think they're the more healthy team. And, they can run the ball efficiently. Geno Smith is pretty good. This defense hasn't been amazing the past couple of weeks, but against a Rams team probably led by Bryce Perkins in this game, I think the Seahawks win it. Next, we have the 49ers versus the Dolphins. One of the best games of the week, no doubt about it. I have the 49ers winning this game 28-24. Obviously, Mike McDaniel coming from the Shanahan tree in San Francisco. I think that this Dolphins team is really well coached, but I do think Shanahan probably knows a lot of these concepts, a lot of the verbiage that they use. I think the 49ers are very familiar with what McDaniel likes to run, and I think that could play a role. Obviously, it goes the other way as well. McDaniel knows a lot of what Shanahan likes to run. He knows a lot of the verbiage there as well. So it goes both ways. I just think the 49ers right now are playing some of their best football. This defense with D'Amico Ryans is such a good unit. It's such a good unit. And I think that they're able to slow down this Dolphins team a little bit. Offensively, they've been playing efficient football. This is the best Jimmy Garoppolo has played probably in his entire career. I think the 49ers win this one, but the Dolphins are a very explosive team. They can play in any game, so this is going to be a very fun one to watch. Next, we have my game of the week. It is the Chiefs versus the Bengals. This is a rematch of the AFC Championship last year. Obviously, the Bengals beat the Chiefs twice last year, both to win the division and then in the AFC Championship game. So I think that some of these Chiefs players will be viewing this as a revenge game. This is going to be a really tough matchup. I do think the Chiefs win this one 31-28, but I do think it's going to be very close. I do have the Bengals covering that 3.5 point spread. I think it's going to be close. I could see it coming down to the last possession, the last, play even. Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes seems like it is going to be a really, really fun quarterback rivalry for many years to come. I'm just very excited about this matchup. I am a Bengals fan, so obviously hoping that they're able to win this game and stay consistent and, push for the playoffs. But the Chiefs have an incredibly talented roster. Mahomes is one of those guys that, you just can't contain. And, he's been really, really good throughout this season. The unanimous MVP, in my opinion. So this should be a close one. This should be a very fun one to watch. But I am going to go with the Chiefs winning this one and the Bengals to cover. Next, we have the Raiders versus the Chargers. The Chargers are 2.5 point favorites in this game. I'm actually going to go with the Raiders in this one, 24-20. I really like what the Raiders have been doing the past couple of weeks. And, I kind of called them off. I said I was never going to pick them again. But Josh Jacobs has just been so good the past couple of weeks. He obviously had the touchdown run that won it for them in overtime, but he has just been the offense of this team right now. And I think it really allows them to just kind of maintain possession, keep the opposing quarterback off the field. And Derek Carr and Devontae Adams do have a very nice connection. So I think this offense is kind of finding itself with Josh McDaniels a little bit. Defensively, they're still kind of a mess besides Max Crosby, but I just have a feeling it's a divisional matchup. I feel like the Raiders have played well against the Chargers consistently over the past couple of years. So I'm just going to pick them in this game. The Chargers continue to be banged up. Herbert is playing really well, but I have a feeling in this one. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Next on Sunday Night Football, we have the Cowboys taking on the Colts. The Cowboys are 9.5 point favorites in this game. I have them winning 30-17 over the Colts. Colts kind of came crashing back down to earth against the Steelers on Monday Night Football this week. Matt Ryan looked terrible once again. I think the Cowboys just have so much explosiveness. Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott offensively, and then defensively, they're obviously one of the best coached, most talented units in the NFL as well. I just think that they are really a true contender in this NFC. The Colts, I just don't trust them to be, winning games and especially keeping games close against really, really talented teams. I just don't trust Matt Ryan right now. I think that the Cowboys are significantly better, and I have them winning this game. On Monday Night Football, we have a game that is incredibly important to the playoff race somehow. We have the Buccaneers taking on the Saints. The Saints are 4-8, I believe, and they're still in the thicket of this playoff race. The Buccaneers, 5 wins. They currently lead the division. This could have huge implications for who wins the division and makes the playoffs because the NFC South is so bad. I have the Buccaneers winning this game 24-20. I trust Tom Brady a lot more than I trust Andy Dalton right now. I think the playmakers are getting there for the Buccaneers. Obviously, still a lot of injuries for the Buccaneers. The defense isn't playing amazingly. I don't like Todd Bowles very much as a coach, but I just think they're the better team right now. The Saints have not put things together. Put up 0 points last week. I think the Buccaneers win this divisional matchup here. Thank you so much for watching. This was my Week 13 game picks. If you want to see more game picks, NFL draft previews, mock drafts, power rankings, highlights, all that good stuff, please hit that subscribe button down below. Also, while you're down there, give this video a thumbs up. That helps me out so much. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.